Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Jank Think Tank. Today we're doing a small spoiler video. My camera is really blurry for some reason. It decided to just, there it goes, to go out of focus for no reason. Okay, but today we're going...
Are you sure it's because your camera is like, oh my gosh, he's back.
I'm back, oh god. No, if you had jumped in, then yeah, it probably would have been like, oh god.
That's kind of doing it right now.
Yeah, no. No, today we're doing a small spoiler video for Modern Horizons 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I'm excited for this set.
It's oh my god. So when it first started being spoiled and we first got word of it, coming out of the set, I was like, Modern Horizons 2, cool. Another set. I want more stuff like Strixhaven because honestly, I think Strixhaven deserved a second set, but personal opinion. And then as things started getting spoiled and my friend kept like updating me on the cards, I kept getting more and more excited. One card in particular swayed my whole opinion. Like I was kind of like the Return to Ravnica set. I was like, it's another set, and then one card just completely swayed my whole opinion and got me on board the hype train. And I am pretty excited for it.
One of the cards we won't talk about that I'm really excited for that's getting a reprint is Cabal Coffers.
Yes.
One that's so needed a reprint.
And one of the cards I'm going to mention today is a reprint that's going to bring kind of an impact to modern playstyles and make something actually playstyle that is modern legal that hasn't been good, actually good. So there's a few things I want to do, like honorable mentions, and so it's going to be.
How about we save the honorable mentions? I mean, I mentioned one
till last.
We'll save that to the end.
Yeah.
But so I thought it'd be fun to have visuals because that's part of the spoiler season.
Exactly. So spoilers, man, they're fun.
The 10 cards that we're going to talk about. I took your picks, my picks, and we jumbled them together into a wonderful. Blah, 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 blah. So, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Because it's pretty awesome. I'm just gonna click it because
let's just go through. That is the card that swayed my opinion. That is the card that swayed my opinion for this entire Modern Horizon set. Because I built Calamax, otherwise known as Lightning Butt. And then this card was released. I was like, Thunderbutt, his long lost brother. Oh, I'm so excited. THRASTA, Tempest, Roar. It's I can't really see the CMC.
So the mana value, because that's the new terminology. The mana value is 10 green, so a total of 12.
Is that what they changed? It's not converted mana cost. It's just
it is now mana value. Yeah.
Okay.
They did that for newer players to be able to understand it. Yeah.
But I didn't realize they had changed that. Okay. But THRASTA Tempest Roar is 10 green, so almost it is the same as Galta.
Yep.
The Galta, the Elder Dinosaur. For legendary creature dinosaur. It is it's a wonderful card. I love first off, the artwork on it is spectacular. I have been a Thunderbutt. I have been a long fan of dinosaurs. When I was little, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I grew up. I constantly read dinosaur books, memorized their names, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And so any dinosaur set, like Ixalan was massive for me because it was all dinosaurs. And this just helps feed that fire. This spell costs 3 less to cast for each other spell you've cast this turn. So you cast a bunch of cantrips, a bunch of other creature spells. It just says spells, not non-creature, just spells. Costs 3 less to cast for each other spell you cast this turn. Trample and haste. And then it has trample over planeswalkers.
That's huge.
That is
huge.
That is really cool. So to quickly explain this, if you play something like, let's say the Wanderer, or if an opponent plays the Wanderer, it comes in low loyalty value. I believe the Wanderer comes in at 3. It's either 3 or 4. And you swing at the Wanderer with THRASTA. For some reason, they haven't used the Wanderer's ability to exile THRASTA. But you get that swing in, and it does damage to Wanderer. It then does that additional damage to the player, to the owner of said Planeswalker.
Or the proper terminology, to the face.
To the face, yes. And so that is really cool little tweak that they've done with Trample. Because normally, if something with Trample hit a Planeswalker, that's it. So that's I really love that.
Yeah.
And then
I really hope that's something that they continue on moving forward, because that will change how you play a Planeswalker.
That I don't think it's something that I think they'll make very common, but definitely with larger, specifically legendary creatures, I think that's something that they can definitely keep with.
Yeah,
it keeps that rare ability, because Trample, anything can have Trample.
Yeah.
But this specifically says Trample over Planeswalkers, which is something that I think shouldn't be readily available to everything.
No, definitely not. But it is something I would definitely say should be continued on.
Definitely.
In the future.
And then THRASTA Tempest Roar has hexproof as long as they enter the battlefield this turn. So you play him. As soon as you play him, you can swing in with him. He does have haste. He is fueled by lightning and rage. I love it.
And just going to trample over every Teferi, every Oko.
I love it.
Everyone.
And this goes perfectly with his brother, Calamax. Calamax copies spells. So the way I run Calamax is to put an example out. I was playing with my friend the other day, and the only thing I had out was Calamax. And I was steadily losing the game because I could only get 4 mana on the battlefield. Oof. Like, I think it was turn 12, and I only had 4 lands. It was bad. But I was able to continuously play my cantrips, my smaller spells that I put into the deck. I put I was able to have a Paradise Mantle at the very least, and I put that onto Calamax so that way I could keep him tapped and do combos and stuff with just 4 mana, which is pretty cool. But it eventually got to the point where I only had 1 card in hand. He Crossing gripped my Paradise Mantle, so I couldn't keep him tapped. And he was at the time, he was a 6/6. I had him put that many +1/+1 counters on him, and then he blinked him at one point. So he was a 6/6. And so he had 3 creatures on the battlefield. He was at 40 life. I was at 16. And I swung in. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna swing in. Swung in. He goes, you know what? I'll let it happen. No blockers. And
okay.
And I had a card that doubled the power of target creature until end of turn. And so I cast it. Calamax, since he was tapped, copied the spell. Instant 21 commander damage. And he was like, why did I do this? I had the game.
Yeah.
And so
that's how commander goes.
It is. And so that's kind of how I play Calamax. Just a lot of combo spells. And if I can get that off, THRASTA can easily cost me 2 mana for a Trample and Haste. 7/7. Easily. Now, Galta, 12 mana for 12/12 or 10/10 with Trample. But THRASTA has a lot more going on. It does cost 12, but for each spell you cast, even if you cast 1 creature spell,
it's already
immediately becomes 9 mana instead of 12 mana.
Yeah.
And then if you cast like a Brainstorm. And this is something else that I also really love about the card is that you can do mono green Storm. Because we have seen Storm on green Magic cards before. And I believe there were a couple that actually reprinted in Modern Horizons. Let me see if I can pull up the page because I was fairly confident. Chatterstorm. Create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. It's 1 in the green. Storm.
That's the one thing about this set that honestly will be in my honorable mentions, but we have Squirrel Tribal coming out.
Oh my god. Yes. And I have a friend on TikTok. His name is Psycho Mutt. Anybody watching, go check out his content. He does a lot of lore videos, really cool stuff. He actually was asked, like, hey, can we do Squirrel Tribal recently with Modern Horizons 2? And he does a video on it. And so check him out. He's pretty cool. There's also Rebound. 3 in a green Terramore, for example. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield. If you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. If you can line things up, you can rebound on your turn, which immediately already makes your commander cost less.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do run it as a, or not commander, sorry, I shouldn't have said commander, but it makes THRASTA cost less. Yeah. But if you do have him as your commander, if you want to do mono green Storm, and you have to cast him a couple times, you can always get his CMC back down.
Yeah.
His mana value.
Mana value. Yeah. It'll allow you to kind of offset commander damage. Commander attacks.
And so this wonderful card, and like I said, this swayed my whole opinion on Modern Horizons set. Mm-hmm. So, and that's all I have to say about the card.
Yeah, no, I could have said it better myself. What I'm excited for is the next one. ESPER Sentinel.
Yes.
This is like the white version of Rhystic Study. The interesting thing, though, is if you get this out, so ESPER Sentinel just costs 1 planes, just one. Mm-hmm. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is ESPER Sentinel's power. White definitely needs card draw. I think this is, Magic's way of being able to provide more card draw without breaking what white does.
Definitely.
The thing that I like about it is if you play it early on, you're going to be able to get some card draw. The bigger thing will be in the late game. If you put more +1/+1 counters on this and build up its power, that's when it becomes an issue for other players. So
exactly.
Definitely a cool idea.
You start spreading +1/+1 counters on them. You could have like, hey, instead of paying the 1, you're going to pay the 5. You're going to pay the 5. You want to pay the 6. It can get up there.
Yeah, and if you give it, hexproof, then you could just protect it that much more. So I see this being used in a lot of mono white decks.
Exactly. So. And it's a good card. It's a good card, especially even not talking in like EDH. You and I are mostly commander players. This is a modern legal set. So this card in modern is going to be pretty good. You have multiples of these out. Turn 1, ESPER Sentinel. Turn 2, ESPER Sentinel. It only costs 1 white, 1 mana.
Yeah. So you essentially have the chance at some point to draw 4 cards
each turn.
Each turn from your opponent. So
or each whenever, each turn, because it's whenever they cast their first non-creature spell.
Yeah. So
it does say first. It doesn't say whenever they cast a non-creature spell.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that also works if you're playing a modern deck, but you're playing in a multiplayer format. If Timmy plays Brainstorm on somebody else's turn, you get it on that.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you can really kind of manipulate the table to your advantage to really get that card draw is going to be nice.
It is.
So, yeah, ESPER Sentinel, solid card. But moving along, your next pick.
My next pick. Yes. So far we've discussed your cards, which have been small 1/1s and 1 mana. Mine have all been large CMC.
Yours have been the big guys. The reason why I went the smaller ones is I wanted some that I kind of would figure are going to be on the lower side, lower cost as far as the secondary market goes, but also provide more utility.
Right. And
but come on, this is an elder dragon.
You can't help it. It's an elder dragon. It may be a lot going on, but it deserves it. PIRU the Volatile. 2 and double Mardu, so 2 red, white, black, black for a legendary creature elder dragon. It has flying and lifelink. Take note that lifelink. It's very important. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice PIRU the Volatile unless you pay Mardu, so red, white, black. When PIRU dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Now notice how it says it deals 7 damage. That triggers that lifelink. So if you have PIRU the Volatile on the battlefield, you played him last turn, and then someone goes, you know what, Avenger of Zendikar. And they get a bunch. Let's say they have, Avenger of Zendikar costs what, 7? So they automatically have 7 lands at the very least, unless they ramped out with artifacts, which is weird. But they have 7 tokens, and then a 5/5 for 7 mana. Your upkeep, you're like, yeah, sure, I won't pay. PIRU the Volatile gets sacrificed, it dies. Just, yeah, exactly. And then 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. 7 damage to 7 tokens. That's 49 life you are gaining at the very least, just from that person.
Yeah.
Not contributing the rest of the board and what anybody else has. Because it specifically says when PIRU dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature.
Imagine if you have Aetherflux Reservoir.
Goodbye.
So, for those of you who don't know, Aetherflux Reservoir is an artifact that each... Oh, let me just pull it up. I know what it does.
Each time you cast a spell this turn, it essentially gains you 1 life plus another life plus another life.
Yep. And then you pay 50 life. Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to any target. So it becomes a giant cannon.
Yeah.
This will absolutely murder token decks.
Oh, and I plan on putting this into Extus Aristocrats.
Yep.
And so my plan is to, have my board with stuff. Yeah, it might board wipe me, but now that you've mentioned Aetherflux Reservoir, I might have to put that in the deck.
So let's make a fun little build here. So have PIRU as your in the 99.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Aetherflux Reservoir, have Felidar Retreat, which says whenever you play a land, you can either put 1/1 counters on all of your creatures or create a 2/2 Cat Beast creature token. So you have a bunch of token creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put 1/1 counters on them. And then you have the Ozolith. When all those creatures die, you move all those counters over to the Ozolith, okay? You play PIRU. Boom. Move all those counters onto PIRU.
Mm-hmm.
Now he becomes a very, very big flying with lifelink threat.
Plus any non+1/+1 counters that you may have, such as haste.
Mm-hmm. So you could honestly one-shot someone with PIRU. Or if you have them as your commander. This would definitely require a lot of graveyard recursion. So have like Phyrexian Reclamation, Reanimate.
There's a few that were reprinted now in Modern Horizons 2. Reanimation.
One of which I believe I will bring up.
Okay.
Yep. So, is it? No, it's not. That's not it.
I gotta check our list just to make sure I don't say it. Okay. Young Necromancer.
Yes.
When Young Necromancer enters the battlefield, you may exile 2 cards from your graveyard. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've got the list pulled up, so that way I don't missay anything.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this card is just gnarly. And the thing that I like about it is it has the upkeep trigger, which is very similar to the original Elder Dragons, which is where EDH or Elder Dragon Highlander was originated from. So.
Exactly. And so that is really cool. And
Yeah.
anybody go check out the original Elder Dragons, Nicol Bolas, Arcades. Mind's blanking on the rest of them. I know there's the Esper one, but my mind's blanking on the rest of them. But they all have that sacrifice at the beginning of your upkeep if you don't pay this.
Well, and I'm willing to bet that Wizards will actually do what they can to complete the cycle of Elder Dragons. And
that would be
PIRU.
really cool.
I think PIRU is the start of completing that. So
he's a very good start.
Yeah,
she's a very good start. We don't know the gender, so
they are a very good start.
They are. Yes.
All right, next card. You ready for this one?
Oh boy,
Greed.
Yes,
a card that I have been so excited that's being reprinted. I mean, not that Black needs any more card draw.
Not at all.
But you put this in an Orzhov deck. What is notorious for getting a lot of life gain, if you haven't noticed. And so to be able to tap a black, pay 2 life, draw a card.
You could even couple it with a Sanguine Bond. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never actually losing life. You're essentially paying 2 life to have an opponent draw you a card.
Yeah.
You're making an opponent lose 2 life to draw you a card.
Yeah.
But you see, you said Orzhov, so my first thoughts was that 1, Esper Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
2, my first thought didn't go to Orzhov or Esper or any color combinations. My mind went to my mono black Ruric deck or Crick deck, however you want to say it, because Vilas, the Blood Broker, is in the deck.
Okay.
Vilas, the Blood Broker, says that whenever you hold on, I'll just look up the
so while you're pulling that up, I also have a different combo for you. That is a guaranteed card draw.
Okay. Yeah. Vilas, Broker of Blood is specifically the card name.
Okay.
Flying, pay a black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So with Greed on the battlefield, you pay a black, pay 2 life. So you already triggered Vilas. You lose those 2 life, you draw those 2 cards, and then you draw a card from Greed.
Okay.
And then you
I see your combo, but I'll raise it with mine.
Okay.
So we've got Honden of Cleansing Fire, Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest, and then, if you really want to be nasty, throw in Font of Agonies in there. So Honden of Cleansing Fire, at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain, I think it's 2 life for every shrine.
I want to say that's right.
Give me a second here. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life for each shrine you control.
Yes.
And then you have the Sanctum. Oh, so you'd have to have green in this as well. But there's a reason why. So the Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of shrines you control. So you have 2 shrines. You gain 4 life off of the Honden of Cleansing Fire. You gain 2 mana of any one color, we'll say black, from the Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. And then, to be me. Then you have the Font of Agonies, which Font of Agonies, whenever you pay life, put that many blood counters on Font of Agonies. Pay 1 and a black, remove 4 blood counters from Font of Agonies, destroy target creature. So not only are you getting 2 card draw, two cards that you can draw off of the 2 shrines combo, but then you're also paying into Font of Agonies to then have a repeatable target removal.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. It's jank.
It is very jank. Well,
jank, but
speaking of jank, damn
it! Look, I included this one because of the name. The name is hilarious.
Name.
Just damn. You play this for just its regular cost, and it's just
black.
Damn. It's really funny to me. Also, it's a throwback to Damnation.
Mm-hmm.
Damnation is destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. Dam says destroy target creature. A creature destroyed this way can't be regenerated. So it's like a small damnation. Unless you pay the overload cost. Then it becomes a goddamn.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Also, that was also from someone's TikTok. I had to steal it. It was too good not to.
Oh, that is. Oh, now I need that card in every deck that I can.
To explain a little bit more, overload cost is an alternative casting cost. Basically, you pay an extra 2 generic and 2 white, so it becomes from 2 CMC or 2 mana value to 6 mana value. And if you cast it for its overload cost, you replace all instances of target with each. So it no longer says destroy target creature.
The overload cost would be 4. Because
you're right.
paying the 2.
I'm thinking of something else.
So you pay the...
What am I?
Like a kicker.
Yeah, kicker. I'm thinking of kicker cost.
So overload, you're tapping 2 for the black. So you add white. It's a 4-drop board wipe.
Mm-hmm. That says destroy each creature and not target creature. So it instantly becomes a board wipe. So it's early game value, late game super value.
Yeah.
So.
Which is funny because Damnation is 2 black.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the way that instead of reprinting Damnation, which they previously just did.
They did, didn't they? I don't remember
Time
what.
Spiral.
That's right. They did.
This is a nice way to have an alternative version of that.
And it introduces some new art, which is really cool. So in Damnation, it shows a giant black sun with everything being destroyed around it. And this, it's showing the sun kind of like just regular, but it's being eclipsed. So it has white in it, and they've kept that in the artwork, which is a cool little detail that I enjoy.
Pre-orders for that for Dam right now, just for the regular version, you're looking at about $18 on Card Kingdom, which is still less than what Damnation is. Damnation's still over $20.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah. So if anybody pulls this, pretty solid pull.
Oh yes,
really solid pull.
I mean, if you pull it, the only proper thing to say is hot damn.
Hot damn. Well, what are you looking there?
I was so happy you put that on the list. That one made me smile.
Yes, definitely. And it was, if I didn't, it was definitely going to be an honorable mention.
Oh yes.
Because like I said, we think a lot about EDH, but this in Modern, the set that this is designed for, this is also going to be a really solid card in Modern.
It's a damn good card.
It's a damn good card.
All right, the next one.
What we got?
Titania, Protector of Argoth.
Yes. So this was also my next pick, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes.
It was also my next pick. So when I mentioned earlier about a certain playstyle becoming actually prevalent in Modern, this is the card I was speaking about, because Lands Matter now gets super good because of this card. Titania, Protector of Argoth, is 3 green for a legendary creature elemental. When Titania, Protector of Argoth, enters the battlefield, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And whenever whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. As you said, fetch lands. Any land that says sacrifice, search your deck for a land put onto the battlefield. So whenever you sacrifice one of those lands, you get a 5/3 green elemental creature token, and then you get a land on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can stack that with other abilities, like a landfall trigger. I don't remember if modern landfall is still a thing. I knew it was back when it was first released, but
kind of is.
But I think this will make Modern Lands Matter actually a good playstyle deck.
Yeah,
because you can run multiples of her. You have 2 of her on the battlefield. You sacrifice 1 fetch land, you get 2 5/3s.
You wouldn't be able to have 2 because of the legendary rule.
You're right. You're right. I mean,
but if you were to put her in a deck with Crucible of Worlds, then she becomes even more powerful.
And you could always do something weird like Mirror Gallery, but unfortunately, Modern is definitely a lot more competitive than what I'm used to playing.
Yeah.
So,
she'd
also
actually
a lot more
go
expensive.
She would go very well in a Muldrotha the Gravetide deck.
Yeah, I could see it. If my friend that I always talk about, my other friend that I play with, his name is Josh. Also named Josh. Good name. Solid name. Yeah. He plays Titania as his commander. And whenever he plays that deck, I hate it. I straight up don't have a good time.
See, that's when something like Grafdigger's Cage comes in handy. Kunaros just
he plays
some serious graveyard hate.
He plays 1 land that kills me every time. It's called Glacial Chasm. Cumulative upkeep, 2 life.
Oh, yes.
When Glacial Chasm comes into play, sacrifice a land. If you cannot attack, all damage dealt to you is reduced to 0. So he doesn't even have to pay that cumulative upkeep. Every upkeep, he just sacrifices it and then gets a 5/3 elemental and then plays it again. And just all damage done to him is now 0.
Strip mine it. Just
well, even if you strip mine it, he recurs it from his graveyard.
That's true.
And so unless you straight up exile a land,
which I would totally be okay doing.
Which there's not many ways to exile a land. Now you could run things such as the Moon card. The one from Eldritch Moon.
Yeah.
And then basically it says it's an enchantment. Enchant target creature, planeswalker, or land. Whatever you enchant becomes a land with tap for generic and loses all other abilities.
Yeah.
And so that's the only way that I can see of getting rid of that. Because, like I said, there's not many ways to exile lands.
I mean, Despark. Oh wait, no, that's cost 4 or greater. Never mind, scratch that. Scour from Existence would do it.
There are a few ways. I'm not saying there's no ways to do it. It's just they're really hard to come by. But anyway, that's what I had to say about the card. When I saw her, my mind went to like, oh, this is modern playable. How can this affect the modern play stat, play style and format? So
I don't know. I'll have to think about ways to deal with Glacial Chasm. But yeah, Titania, solid card.
So what do we have next?
Oh, we've got Fey Offering. So Fey Offering is an enchantment for 2 and a green at the beginning of each end step. So not just yours, but everybody on the table. If you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, create a clue token, a food token, and a treasure token. Mana, mana, mana. Mana, life, mana.
Pretty much.
Wait, card draw, mana, life. Yeah.
Yeah, because the treasure token gives you that 1 mana of any color. Food token, you pay 2 to gain, or you pay. I got it reversed. Pay 3, gain 2 life.
Yep.
And then clue is you pay 2, sack it, and draw a card.
Yes. So I mean, this just provides more options. Not that green needed anymore, but a lot of versatility. And if anything, at least on your turn, you're going to, in most cases, play both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have something like Vidalcan Orrery out, or just abilities to be able to play spells at instant speed, you're going to get some value out of this.
Definitely.
And it's an uncommon. So I see this being a sleeper card from the set.
It's not pauper legal.
Nope, definitely not pauper legal.
Not pauper legal, but still, it is modern legal.
Modern legal.
What we're talking.
Exactly. All right, next one.
What we got?
NECROGOYE.
Yes. So this is the last card on my list, I believe. Or unless I had nope, that's it.
This is the last one.
So, as we all know, or as most of us know, there's a certain card that has basically been the bane of most modern decks called Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf, here, I'll pull it up so that way I don't misspeak. All I know is that
I'm going to go crawl in a corner because I've got some bad memories. I'll be right back.
Tarmogoyf is it's a card. It's from Future Sight. It's part of the reasons why I didn't really buy much of that set because, reasons, money. But basically, Tarmogoyf is a 1 and a green for a Lurgoyf creature.
I'm going to go back and hide.
Tarmogoyf's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. So it's a 2 mana for whatever you have in all graveyards. So I'm trying to think of situations. So let's say you're on turn 4. You've cast 1 spell or 1 instant or sorcery. It's in the graveyard. You pay Tarmogoyf the next turn. It is now a 1/2. And then because it says power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. So if you only have one thing in your graveyard, it's a 1/2. Yeah. If other people have cast something, it's, let's say there are 3 things in the graveyard amongst every player. So like a instant, a sorcery, and an enchantment in the graveyard. It is now a 3/4 or 4/5. But it continuously stacks, but it's for 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
And in Modern, which is a faster playstyle than Commander, that can mean a lot. That can mean the difference in winning the game and losing the game is the speed on which you play. And the fact that you can have multiples of them is pretty good. Now,
and the fact that Tarmogoyf is not even a legendary creature.
Exactly.
So
and then NECROGOYE says power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. So someone board wipes, someone starts removing creatures from the battlefield. Someone is playing a sacrificing style deck where they sack a bunch of stuff and then goes to the graveyard. Its power is equal to how many creature cards are in all graveyards. Then at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. It has a madness cost of 1 black. So immediately goes from paying 5 mana for whatever, let's say you have three creature cards in the graveyards between everybody. it goes from paying 5 mana for a 3/4 to paying 3 mana for a 3/4 if you can discard them or if someone makes you discard them. I don't think it'll be as good as Termagoyf, but I definitely think NECROGOYE is going to be a staple.
Yeah.
In Modern.
This will definitely go into my Anya Falconwrath deck, the Madness Precon.
Yeah.
It will also work in a Cathrall deck.
Yep.
So it would work in self-mill. So,
anything that you can do to make you discard a card to lessen that CMC. I was thinking about possibly putting it into, once again, Extus, where I'm wanting to play at Aristocrats, and so I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of stuff, putting stuff into my graveyard, play NECROGOYE, and it's a 10/4.
Oh, could you imagine this in a Shadowborn Apostle deck?
All right, so look.
Look,
bruh, I might have to ask you to calm down on the cringe factor, okay?
Ugh. Have you met me?
You right?
I mean, this is my God of Salt deck. No, that wouldn't work because Tergrid takes everything out of the graveyard, so that takes permanence, so that would not work.
Yeah.
But that's how Magic goes. No, I was super excited to see this one.
And like I said, my mind went to Modern and it's not Commander on this one because this is it's Modern Horizons. So
sorry, I only think Commander. No,
I'm not judging you too hard for it.
Oh, thanks, jerk.
You're welcome.
No, I'm
a perfect little angel.
But speaking of some Modern, Ignoble Hierarch, Jund is going to make an impact with this one.
Yes.
And not only just Jund infects.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am that type of player.
Look, all I'm going to say is Craig Blanchett should be super happy this card is being printed.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen him post anything about it on Twitter yet, but and even Lady Danger, she's a Golgari fan, so she should be excited about this. But that I understand where you're going with the infect. That Exalted trigger is pretty cool.
Well, not only the Exalted, but this is a mana dork that will just help fix your mana curve.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
go on green.
Yeah, just green, red, black. I mean. It only costs one.
It does.
One black to play Tainted Strike.
It does. It does, in fact, only cost one to play Tainted Strike.
You know, let's see.
I love Tainted Strike. There's a reason why I run it in Corvold, because why not?
You know,
do I have to? No.
It would help with Phyresis, an enchantment, 1 and a black. Enchanted creature as infect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shocker coming from me. Triumph for the Hordes. Another infect staple. 2 green until end of turn. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and infect until end of turn.
So when I saw this card, of course, its name is Ignoble Hierarch. Mm-hmm. I immediately thought of its opposite, Noble Hierarch.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they just, counter each other is hilarious to me. So Noble Hierarch is also 1 green for something that has an Exalted, but she taps for Bant. So green, white, or blue, which is not really opposite of Jund, but close to it. And if you read Ignoble Hierarch's flavor text there, he says, he protects the feated bog from light, life, and the hideous sounds of laughter.
Noble Hierarch, her flavor text, she protects the sacred groves from blight, drought, and the unbeholden.
Mm-hmm. So she's like, yes, everything's pure. I will protect it with my life from all. And he's like, get out of my bog.
Right. Yeah, no, I was super excited to see this. Again, my mind went straight to Infect, because
mana,
Infect, yeah. And I've wanted to build a deck that includes. I know there's a couple of red creatures that have Infect. There's not that many.
Fallen Fairmancer.
Yep. So I mean, just to be able to build another modern Infect deck, I have one that's Simic. So that if it runs the way it's supposed to, turn 2, you're dead.
I don't like it.
But you
I'm not going to. I'm not. Look, I'm not going to.
You have to respect it.
I'm not going to say I'm mad. I'm just going to say I understand. I can't be mad because I'm still in the process of it, but I'm building Hapatra Infect. So, and Infect, whenever it deals damage to creatures, it deals that much damage in neg-1 encounters. Kind of like with Wither.
Yeah.
But Wither doesn't do the poison counters. Infect does. Whenever you deal damage to a player, it deals that many poison counters instead of damage.
And you only need 10.
And you only need 10 to lose the game. And in a format like Commander, where you have 40 life, compared to Modern, where you have 20, it can be pretty impactful in Commander. And so playing Hapatra Infect, like I said, I'm still in the process. I have a horrible condition where I build like 10 decks at a time. And I can never focus on just one.
So don't feel bad. I have 30 Commander decks.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I've got 5 that I still need to finish. And the reason why they're not finished because something else came out, and I was just like, oh, total like squirrel.
Yep.
That kind of moment.
Yeah,
so.
It's kind of like with Calamax, Modern Horizons started releasing. I'm like, let's get Calamax ready. Start taking it apart, putting stuff in it.
Yeah. But yeah, Ignoble Hierarch. Fantastic card. The last one. Void Mirror. So an artifact for 2 generic. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. This will stop every freaking Kozilek deck I've ever played. Suck it.
First off,
I said my piece.
First off, I'll pass. Second off, I run Kozilek. I built Kozilek not too long ago. And so this hurts. This hurts.
This is one of those artifacts I will make copies of.
Any Eldrazi, like not Ravnican, not second Ravnican, Battle for Zendikar, Eldrazi, the one where they had the Devoid, but you still pay mana for it. But like Ulamog, Kozilek, Emrakul,
Desolation Twins,
Bane of Balaged, Desolation Twins, all of them are instantly countered. And so this is on the battlefield. Someone's not paying attention. They go to pay 10 mana for this huge spell, and it's like, nah.
Especially if you could flash this out while it's on the stack.
Yeah.
Oh, I am a horrible human being.
And since this is modern legal, it shuts down modern affinity. Artifacts. And that was the one modern deck that I built. Was Modern Affinity. And this completely just it's done. Because you especially Cheerios, where you're paying 0 mana for all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore because it's instantly countered.
Which honestly, I feel this card was needed because I've played so many Modern Affinity decks that just combo off, and it's like, I hate your deck.
Yeah, it's like they turn.
By the
off
way,
and go off.
check out that channel too. It's fantastic. I hate your deck.
It's kind of like you go against a modern Affinity or Cheerios deck, and if you don't start, you're like my ass scoop, because they usually go off turn 1.
Yeah,
and proceed to win. This also shuts down any free casting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Any stuff that says you can cast a spell without paying its converted mana cost. Also instantly.
Yeah, it'll shut down storm decks.
Mm-hmm. Lavinia the 10th, or anything that Karn, the new Karn, the one that says you can exile stuff, then play it from exile without paying its mana cost.
Yeah,
you can't do it. So you know how I picked all the big stuff that seemed powerful, and you picked utility stuff. This is the scariest card that we've picked, in my opinion, because it ends so much.
It'll shut down all the swords, all the mana rocks.
Oh God!
You wanted to play that turn 5 Soul Ring? No.
Look, no. I know you're behind on mana, but you can't ramp out with artifacts. Nah.
Yeah, no. Oh, you want to play the Sword of Feast and Famine?
Now you can tap a green to pay for your Soul Ring. Because you are paying colored mana. But you can't.
But the color, you can't use mana rocks
to continue to ramp out.
Now,
so there is a way around how to cast your stuff.
What if you're using like Commander's Sphere and Arcane Signet? Because that generates mana of
any color.
Of any color of your commander's identity.
So if you have, if you're, once again, the Soul Ring, if you tap Commander Sphere to play a Soul Ring, just say you're paying a red for it.
Yeah.
That way you are signifying that it is colored.
So I think the beauty of this card is it's also going to force players to be more specific with their words, because I feel a lot of players have gotten lazy in that they'll say, I'll tap
this for mana,
this, and cast this under the presumption that, Commander's Sphere, I'm tapping for red, or, tapping for green. We just kind of assume that it's going into the particular cost. I think with this on the battlefield, now you have to be specific in what you're tapping for what.
And in Modern, where, it's competitive, people go to competitions for this, and they catch someone slacking, judge.
Yeah.
And if the judge finds it reasonable, they can declare someone invalid or you're an invalid. No.
Yeah, invalid.
But basically, they can say, you didn't say this mana when you were casting the spell, so therefore this spell can't be cast. Oh, well, that turns off my deck. Well, I guess you lose.
Yeah, that's the maker. It's the difference between winning or losing.
Exactly. So it's, like I said, it's a good card. It shuts down a lot, but there are ways around it. You just have to be, like you said, very specific with what you say.
Yep. Which, honestly, I think the game needs to get back to.
Because I know from my I play casual commander, where I'll tap things out and they're like, I meant to actually do this. You mind if I retap it? Yeah, sure. And you retap your mana so that way you have your colored mana up that you need.
Yeah.
And so with this, if someone has this on the battlefield and you mistap and they're like, no, because you wouldn't have had colored mana to do this. Whereas if I let you retap it, you would in order to catch a spell. So it's Modern, it's really good. Competitive or EDH is really good. Overall,
yeah,
10 out of 10 good card.
Oh, yes.
8 out of 10 would recommend. Actually, no, I take that back. 3 out of 10 would recommend. Don't play this. If you want friends, don't play this. He just sits there silently.
That's the second mechanic that between this and Infect. Man, I'm just losing friends left and right.
What are friends? This is serious magic. You think this is a game? This isn't a game.
Are you not entertained?
And excuse me for drinking Monster. We're not, branded or sponsored.
That's okay. But if Monster would like to sponsor this show, let us know.
Leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit that bell and like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff.
All right. So a couple honorable mentions. I mentioned one, Cabal Coffers, getting a much needed reprint. It's a fantastic land. If you're playing mono black, you need to be running this.
Mm-hmm. And I have a couple that I kind of wanted to talk about for a second.
Okay.
First one is braids. So if anybody goes and checks out the game night video where I played on game nights, Jimmy played a braids, a mono blue braids deck where he was able to play stuff during his upkeep for free, or everybody was able to put like a land, a creature, or an enchantment or artifact, not enchantment, sorry, onto the battlefield for free during their upkeep. And so it was kind of like a group hug deck, and he ended up getting like Omniscience out, which we were like, oh no, but they changed braids and they reprinted her, not reprinted, but they printed a new version of her in Modern Horizons 2, and her name is now Braids Cabal Minion. She's a legendary creature, human minion. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. So it flipped.
Well, so Braids Cabal Minion was originally printed in Odyssey.
Oh, I didn't realize so this is a reprint. It's not just a new card.
Yes, this is a reprint, and it is banned in Commander.
I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. That's a good reprint. But yeah, banned in Commander. Dang. That's funny. See, I'm not overall familiar with the ban list as much as I should be. I just know like Paradox Engine is banned in Commander.
Yeah, so the Paradox Engine is banned. Prophet of Crufix is banned, which I wish it wasn't.
Everybody wishes it wasn't, but there's a reason why it's banned. You can get a pseudo Prophet of Crufix with a couple combo pieces, but you have to work for it.
Yeah, so Braids Cabal Minion is on there. I mean, it's up there with Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, Grizzlebrand, Iona, Shield of Emeria.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I didn't realize she was a reprint. That is cool. I thought they had just like changed her and put her into this modern set, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But either way, powerful card. I love it. The next one that I was going to talk about was another one that I loved, was Wonder. Wonder is a 3 in a blue incarnation flying, and as long as Wonder is in your graveyard and you control an island, creatures you control have flying.
Yep, also a reprint.
I did know that one was a reprint.
Yeah, that came out at the same time as Anger.
Mm-hmm. I have one copy in Sidisi Brood Tyrant, where I had like 40 zombies on the battlefield, and then Wonder in the graveyard. Hi, these are flying zombies.
Yeah, can you imagine playing an Izzet deck and you have Anger and Wonder in the graveyard?
I have Anger in Ruric Thar.
And
Ruric Thar has Anger in him.
And
no enchantment, bad smash.
Bird smash. Oh, that was fantastic. What was it? The other there's a couple other ones. Oh, I know which one. Chatterfang Squirrel General. Yes. So this is for 2 and a green, a legendary creature, a squirrel warrior, a 3/3 squirrel warrior with Forest Walk. So Forest Walk, if any of your opponents have control a forest, then that squirrel Chatterfang is unblockable. So the ability, though, if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens, if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead.
Yep.
So you make a whole boatload of squirrels. Then you can pay a black, Sacrifice X squirrels. Target creature gets plus X minus X till end of turn. This will do wonders against creatures with indestructible. But let's just be honest. There is only one way to kill Kozilek, and it is with squirrels. And now we have a way to do that in a commander deck. I will be building a Chatterfang Squirrel General deck.
I will be. This is a fact. Without a doubt.
With Doubling Season, with Parallel Lives.
All of it.
It's happening. It is happening. There's going to be some crazy squirrels up in this business.
Yep. So, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but Sword of Hearth and Home, we finally have a Selesnya sword, which is pretty cool. You know, we've had other colors with green. Now we have Selesnya. I'm still waiting on the Gruul one. Still waiting on the green and red.
Yep.
But hopefully they're starting to release more color combinations of swords. I think the next one that they may be doing is a Dimir one.
Yeah.
So that will kind of, you know, continue that cycle. And then Kaldra Complete, which the Kaldra sets, anybody who's been playing Magic for a while, there's been like the Kaldra helmet, the sword, and just all sorts of equipment with Kaldra as the name. And this one is Kaldra Complete, living weapon, indestructible. Equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. So I think that's a really cool little. That
is cool.
A little lore. Lore.
So the last card that I want to mention to wrap this all up, Garth One Eye. So this legendary human wizard costs Wooburg. So white, blue, black, red, and green. Mm-hmm. Tap. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen yet from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus.
It's the only way I'll ever be able to have a Black Lotus, guys.
Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy. Mm-hmm. This is Wizard's way of getting around the reserve list.
Yep.
And I absolutely love it. I think it is probably the coolest workaround to that. I anticipate seeing proxies of Black Lotus. I mean, I've got where's mine?
You make proxies and really cool artworks all the time.
Boom.
Yep. There it is.
So pretty. So yep, that'll be another one that I'll have to actually I think that would be good in my Sisay deck.
See, so I was kind of your opinion on Garth when it was first spoiled. But after talking it over with my friends, you're essentially paying Wooburg 5 mana for each of these things. Let's say it gets removed once. Then you have only one copy. But if you're able to recur it, you're still paying 5 mana Wooburg for each of those things. Especially and something that people will definitely be trying to get is that Black Lotus activation because Black Lotus is a great card. But it's much worse than the actual Black Lotus because you're paying 5 mana to get 3 mana. I understand it's like Wizards trying to get around the reserve list, and you know there's other cards that you can do with or get with this other than Black Lotus, Shivan Dragon, Terror, Brain Geyser, other cards you can get or other copies of the cards you can get. But it's still you're having to pay Wooburg for all of it.
Okay, so
and then have them around, them around for one cycle, be able to tap him unless you give him haste.
Okay, so because it costs Wooburg, if you have this as your commander for kicks and giggles. Now, what if you just kind of play around with stuff? You have obviously say anger in the graveyard to give it haste. Right. Then you have something like Puppet Strings or Puppeteer where you can tap or untap target creatures. Fate Stitcher. Staff of Domination. I mean, you can get a lot of that recursion and be able to utilize that tap ability over.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad card. That's not what I'm saying, because like you said, there are different combinations that you can do to get it to tap on several different turns or several times on one turn. But it's still a lot.
Yeah.
To have to pay to get, like, even if you're like, oh, I got to draw cards, let me cast my commander, this creature, give it haste somehow, or hopefully wait until my next turn to tap it to be able to cast Brain Geyser.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very cool concept.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what the EDH community does with it.
Oh, and the EDH community does all sorts of stuff. They do a lot. They have a lot of jank stuff. Maybe that should be one of our next episodes, is discussing how we would build a deck around this card, or different combinations we can do with this.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But there you go.
Yeah. Modern Horizons 2. That set will come out June 18th.
Yes.
So in just about 2 weeks. If you are able to, because I know things are starting to open up, if your LGS is doing a pre-release event, go.
Definitely go.
Support the LGS. I'm excited. Not excited for the prices of the product, but we'll save that for another show.
We'll talk about it some other time. We won't worry about the pain now.
Yeah, we're not going to open that can of worms. Yeah, June 18th, Modern Horizons 2. I mean, Wizards is just releasing so much product. I mean, we'll have to do another show for the Unforgotten Realms.
Exactly. And that's another set that I'm excited to see. What Tiamat. Oh, Tiamat was spoiled as a card.
So if you want that episode, let us know.
Please make sure you leave a comment. I go through and read them. I try to respond to people. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I don't. Leave a comment, subscribe. And even if you don't like our comment, tell us how much you hate it in the comments.
Or, we'll just cast silence and then you won't be able to.
Yeah. Or just ignore it.
Just scroll.
Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. What do? We scroll. I love to scrolling. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, the Monster Energy is starting to think.
Well, this has been fun. A fun first episode for my return back from my hiatus. So.
Yes, I'm glad you're back. Now I don't have to stress about doing episodes alone because I have anxiety. you're good. So awesome. I try to do something on my own. I'm like, oh god, I don't know anything. I don't know what to do.
But we will definitely have to do another gameplay, Commander Roulette.
That was a lot of fun. Definitely,
that was fun. So. Awesome. Well, I will hand it back to you.
All right. Well, in that case, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, until next time, this is Nightlight tapping out.